What is up, my people? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about something very important, and that is Respawn adding enough content to Apex Legends for it to succeed in the future and have all these conversations around Apex Legends, you know, being on the out and out. Are they real? Do you give credence to there? You just brush them off and say, no, they're doing the right thing. Today, I wanted to really take the approach from the side of EA and Respawn and kind of look at it from their eyes and why what they're doing with their content might surprise you, but is the best thing to do for the game. Now, obviously, I like to keep things positive and focus on that, but it doesn't mean that I won't have radical candor, have some feedback for them and how they can improve. But I do think that if these are the correct assumptions I'm making, this is actually going to be the best path for the game. Now, let's talk about that right now. But before we do, I want to say thank you for watching the video. Leave a like if you do enjoy this, and definitely comment something if you have something to say. I know this is a very, controversial topic in some ways. A lot of people think there should have been more content. There should have been this and that. We'll get into that towards the middle and towards the end of the video. But there's a lot of people who are absolutely fine playing the game right now, not even thinking about this, and this conversation is just going way over their heads. Like no one might as well had this conversation because it just doesn't mean anything to them right now. The first thing I wanted to address and I wanted to talk about is if Apex Legends is not making content right now, potentially I would be down with that if they're trying to break out of this system that gaming years has kind of developed. Now, I say gaming years in the same way I say dog years versus human years, where every dog year is like 7 years for every human year. So their life is like sped up. It's the same thing with gamers nowadays. Do you guys notice the fact that, people are playing for 8 hours a day when they're Twitch streaming and they're playing for 6 days a week? Back in the day when I was a kid, I'd spend an all-nighter. I definitely do. I know you probably did too if you're a gamer. Maybe 20 hours in a row, pull those crazy sessions. But would I do it back to back? I mean, 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row. There were no 24-hour streams back then. There was no Twitch as a full-time job back then. This is something brand new that the gaming industry is having to develop. People who are playing their game so many hours a week, it's like a job, and trying to make the same game for a dude who shows up, Timmy, 2 controllers, who shows up trying to basically play 2 hours on the weekend and then go chill out and see a movie. Like he's not tripping like that. It ain't his full-time job. How do you balance and make a game for that dude and also the dude who's gonna play 20 hours in a row, 5 days a week? I mean, how do you balance that? Also, that's a fake number, obviously. I mean, that would be crazy if people are doing that. But 8 hours in a day, that's a lot of gaming of the same game. It's bound to be getting you bored. I think if Apex and Respawn are trying to get out of that system and trying to say, you know what, we're not going to pander to this. I know a lot of games feel like they can't survive unless they put out constant content, but that's not for us. Then I appreciate the way that they're going about this because it is giving a clear signal to the community, although it's hard to take right now. It's like giving the silent treatment to your relationship, significant other. Like when they do something they shouldn't have done. It's hard to take, but they're getting the information that we are not going to be giving you updates whenever you guys want them. They will come when they come, and that is when they will arrive. So I do appreciate that, and I'm all down for getting out of that, that behavior. I think games can be good, and they don't have to be updated every 2 weeks to be relevant. Although the reason that happens, and the reason people will cry for that, by the way, as we get into state number 2, or question number 2, topic number 2, so to speak, is because of content creators. I mean, the people who are playing 8 hours a day are also the biggest and most influential people. And you know why they want new content? I mean, I'm part of the boat. I'm not even close to one of the most influential people on the internet. I hope one day. But at this point, I'm doing my little thing with Apex Legends, and I want new content because it's the easiest thing to make a video on. Everyone cares about it. You pull in a general audience and the people who are super interested in the game. You have a chance to pull in more eyes, and the content writes itself. It's just, here's the new thing, check it out. It's not making you dive past surface level. And I know as a content creator, when I look at that, I say, man, I'm really being kind of selfish for why I want this content to come out. So it's just something to think about. And I think a lot of people, there's nothing wrong with wanting new things to get great amounts of views. If you're a full-time YouTuber and you're doing your life and like that's part of your job, there's nothing wrong with that. But the idea is that doesn't need to happen. Is the game dying if that doesn't happen? Yes and no. Yes, content creators will switch to other games because they'll have new things and that will drive more traffic. But at the end of the day, the game could still be very successful. And that's how I feel Apex Legends is now. The second thing that I want to talk about is if the true state of the game is the true state of the game, the balance and the vision going forward is the most important thing for Apex Legends, then this is the perfect plan for them. Now, they interestingly enough talked about in one of their earlier Reddit posts that they wanted Season 1 to be a complete, like, just get used to this game, understand that this is a game that is going to be around for a while. All we want you to do is to not have to do challenges, not have to do this. I want you to learn and just play and just get used to the meta, get used to the weapons. They had also mentioned we don't want to balance anything too hastily. We want to give a lot of time. We want to do internal play tests before we make big changes. They would talk about nerfs and then slight nerf, and then they leave that nerf for several weeks, and they just see and they test and they watch. And so far, they have stuck completely to their word. We have gotten one gun in the Havoc, which is an energy weapon, which are pretty much the lowest tier of weapons in this game, aside from maybe a turbocharged devotion. Then you've all, and you know, Havoc can be okay, but you know what I'm saying, right? Everyone's running R301, Spitfires, Wingmans, Peacekeepers, things like that, R99s. But the other idea around it is that they truly gave us some time. And you know what I found during that time with these weapons and with these things? I got to see a better idea of what they could actually do. I mean, you play with a Mozambique enough, you drop and you only have a Mozambique enough times, damn it, you're going to use it at one point. And when you realize that, you know, hey, I could actually kill someone, I know it sucks, it's definitely not a gun I'd rather have than any other gun, but I can kill somebody with it, it changes the way you think about that. When you actually play a little bit of Gibraltar after the hitbox changes, or some Caustic, or some Pathfinder, you say, you know what, this is actually a very top tier champion. This isn't a bad champion anymore when I just lumped them up into those changes. You get to see the truth of where it all stands. If you let yourself have these balance issues from the beginning, and you update too fast, and these balance issues stay as issues as your game grows and adds new features that then need new balancing mechanics, then you have the pebble in the shoe. This is a story my dad always used to tell me. He said a guy had a pebble in his shoe. He started walking. They say, hey, you all right? No, it's just a pebble in my shoe. Started walking up the hill. Another mile later, he says, hey, what are you doing, man? No, I just got I got a cut in my foot now because of the pebble in the shoe. He said, okay, well, maybe you take your shoe off. He's like, nah, I'm good. All right, he goes back in and he said, oh, man, 2 miles down the road, he says, hey, how you doing? He's blimping. He's like, well, I actually feel like my foot got infected because of something that was on the pebble in the shoe. And they said, all right, well, why don't you sit down? He's like, no, I'll keep walking. They finally get to the town. The guy's got his foot. It's infected. It's green. They got to cut it off because he ended up getting a huge infection. And now that, if he doesn't, he's going to die. At the end of the day, it's like those small things can snowball into huge things if you ignore them. And that's what balancing, adding new things before you balance the current things can do. And hitboxes, like huge OP weapons like the Wingman before it was nerfed, and Wingman's still really good right now. If that wasn't balanced and wasn't clear on where it needs to go, this game could be ruined with the new big update that brought a lot of new players. All right, so that's the second thing. I want to know what you guys think about that one specifically, because I actually think this is a very smart thing to do. It's super hard for us players who are grinding this game, but I think it's a very smart thing to do. The third thing I want to talk about and say that is a good reason Respawn should not be updating Apex Legends right now is because if it's not enough to sustain true content drops, they shouldn't be dropping a lot of content right now. I mean, think about this. This is a studio, and I've heard rumors of them actually pulling developers to go work on some other projects. Now this could be a lesser team that's more sustaining Apex Legends and not trying to, go as hard as when they were trying to get it to launch. Titanfall 3 is something that has been rumored to be working on. There's a management of people, resources, time, and of course expectations from the developers, from the studio, and of course from the players. If you cannot sustain good content, that would be the worst thing to do. What if they drop all their dope content right now and then we don't have anything for 6 months? Would you rather have that? Or would you rather wait a month, get some great content, have to go another month and a half, but then get some great content, have to go another month and a half, then get some great content so people can keep having reasons to play and keep having good experiences and not just have it all happen and then have a game that seems like it's dead for 6 months? In my opinion, if you cannot sustain these crazy drops, then you shouldn't be dropping them in a crazy rate. And maybe that's what's going on. Obviously, Respawn, EA, I love communication from them. I think they could do it more in general. I don't know what the reason is. I don't think any other company in the world that I would know of in gaming or in any company would be like, you know what? We just don't have enough, y'all. I mean, we just honestly, we kind of stink. We stink. We don't got it. I'm sorry. That skin you guys wanted, I haven't made it. And I'm not gonna do it for a couple of weeks. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm chilling. I'm actually on vacation right now. Nobody's gonna say that. So if they don't have the content, it's good to pace it out, and maybe that's what they're doing. I think it's much better than dropping it and having these windows of time. But what do you guys think? Would you want all the year's content right now, or would you rather have it paced out? I think paced out is the better way to go. The fourth thing to talk about is if the content is not up to par. Now, we all know that Apex Legends is a game that wants to be very, very hyper, not only balanced, but I mean, just looking good, feeling good, and optimized. I think that's the best word for it. But the Battle Pass, let me be clear and let everyone be clear. I love the value of the Battle Pass. But we all know, and EA knows as well, you know, it wasn't like the dopest skins ever released in a video game. Everybody knows that. So what they want to do is keep up this high tier of awareness that this is a AAA game. This is how they launched. There were the Battle Royale that was like super AAA and finally free to play and good on release. That was their thing. And they want to continue to do this. Now, content has been data mined and leaked since the beginning of this game. And during the hype of the game, I thought it was really bad for it because everyone was like, yo, check out this new character. Yo, check out all these 18 new characters. Yo, check out all these 50 weapons that are coming. Yo, check out. I'm like, dude, we haven't even played the damn. It's been 2 days. Come on, I don't even know what's coming out, 8 years from now. And at the end of the day, the content, it didn't even come close to matching that pace. So everyone expected that this content was going to come out so quickly, but that could have just been something that's going to be in the works for the next 6 months. So if you're going to rush content that is unimpressive and then it basically dissuades players from sticking to your game or especially monetizing with your game, you have to slow that down and you have to make sure your content is excellent. This is a AAA game. People expect AAA products. They expect very high quality skins. They expect, to be honest, this is a game that kind of is in my opinion, connected with changing the game and the atmosphere of battle royales, coming in and being this like new beast that no one thought could even come close to rivaling, the games of Fortnite right now, but it kind of did. So I think they have to keep up with that brand. That is very clearly the Apex Legends brand. I know a lot of eyes are on this game, and I do have a couple of other thoughts as to why that content might not be coming and why the communication could be slow, but I'll talk about that as like a little bonus conversation at the very end. Now, my fifth and final reason why I think that it might be a great idea for Apex Legends to be delaying this content or just to be not pumping out content as consistently as we all are saying they should is maybe they're launching a counterattack of their own. You ever think about that? I mean, I often think that, man, if Apex Legends talked about what they were launching and they had this big day, here's our big thing, how many games would throw out releases of things that day? Free Battle Pass, free XP, 4 times this. It would go crazy. Everyone wants this game to not be a threat anymore for everything because it's a great game and I get it. But if you, instead of taking that approach, wait until somebody else has a big thing, you might be able to steal some players back. Now, this is how the gaming industry works, unfortunately, for those who are like, oh, stealing games. There's only so many gamers, right? They're all playing the same games, and so, yes, there are these isolated audiences that will only play that game, but a lot of the casual gamers are what drive a lot of the real hotness of a game, right? So if you can get all these casual players who are like, I could play Overwatch, I could play Fortnite, I could play League of Legends, but the new Apex drop just happened, so me and all my buddies are playing that. That's millions of dollars in revenue. That's millions of players that you could potentially retain with that. And maybe they're doing that for something in the future. The Fortnite World Cup is coming up. Are they taking the offensive? That's a big reason why I would say, I would like Apex Legends, if they are delaying, maybe to have a big launch on a day where everyone else is thinking, oh, I'm going to play this game. Wait, no, I'm back to Apex Legends. That would be really cool for the community, really hype, and I think it's something that I would be totally down for them doing. And let me know what you guys think about that down below. So, the idea, guys, is that Apex Legends may be doing these things that are slowing things down, but I think that honestly, this is the right pace for them. I know that there are a lot of ways to look at this, and I know new content would be welcome from me and from every single person. There's no doubt about it. News always fun and cool, but all these contingencies believe me to think that maybe new isn't the best thing for the game and that maybe slowing it down, keeping this steady pace, and you know what it is, the tortoise versus the hare. The tortoise ends up winning that race. You can't sometimes sprint, especially against a giant and against other games that are already really successful. You try to blow your load too early and you end up, getting kicked out, so to speak. Now, would it be enough if they launched another, champion right now? Would it be enough if they launched another battle pass and it was exactly the same? Would you need something more to keep your hope in Apex Legends alive, or is it already alive and this is the video you've been waiting for and you're like, finally, a guy who gets it? Whatever it is, let me know. The final thing that I want to talk about and ask for those who have watched the videos, these are my real OGs, these are the people who might help me out as well, is to check out the esports scene. Now, esports is a way to update your game just by keeping it on top of mind. People don't care about what you're adding if you're always talking about it and you're watching it and all your friends are aware of these new personalities and people who are doing things within it. That is the way that a lot of people are turning back to Fortnite because of the World Cup. And if you get esports meshing in with Apex Legends, you have a chance to continue to boom and be relevant even when you have these droughts of content. Now, there was a little bit of a post, and I'll link it down below, of comments from one of the EA Respawn folks who is actually talking about esports and Apex Legends and needing some casters. If you guys have seen my casting, or if you guys think I would be a good fit for that, you want to just show some support because you like me and you've been following the channel for a while, go ahead and recommend me for maybe a caster kind of opportunity there. You know, at Skillshot, we're casting a ton of different games. It would be super cool, I think, to cast Apex Legends, considering how much I've been playing it, and it would be an opportunity I think would be really fun to see. So if you're interested in that, I'll link that down below. You guys can maybe go ahead and show some love, say, get Rain8 Gaming on here. He's the guy I got to listen to. I think it'd be a lot of fun anyways, and you know, I'll be playing it and watching it anyways, so might as well be casting it. We'll have to wait and see, but I wanted to shout that out for you guys as well. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I wanted to just keep this conversational. Hopefully while you were cooking, while you were driving, while you were just chilling on your computer, you guys enjoyed this video, and I want to hear your thoughts as always. Remember to never give up, never stop gaming, my friends, and I will see you all next time.